Imagine walking through a chaotic world where storms rage and obstacles rise like unbreakable walls. Yet, you move with the calmness of a mountain, unshaken, unbothered. This is not just an attitude. It's a power, a silent strength, a form of control that most people can only dream of mastering. But what if I told you you can learn this? You could become the master of your own mind, untouchable, immune to the chaos around you. If you're ready to become that person, the one who walks through fire without even the smell of smoke, then this is your guide. First, understand this. Every reaction you give, every flinch, every moment of visible frustration, it's a signal. It's a sign to the world that you can be affected, that you can be controlled. If you've ever found yourself fuming over a slight insult, losing focus because of a minor setback, or crumbling under the weight of someone else's judgment, you've handed over the reins of your mind. And those who know this, those who understand the silent language of human behavior, they see you, they mark you, they understand exactly where to press, exactly where to push to make you break. But not anymore, because by the end of this script, you'll be unbreakable. Now, before we dive deep into this journey, do me a favor. Hit that like button, comment your favorite Napoleon Hill quote, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, the stronger your mind, the stronger your reality. Stay with me till the end, and I promise you, you'll walk away a different person. All right, let's get into it. The first step in mastering this power is to understand that the greatest enemy you will ever face is not out there in the world. It's in your mind. It's the small, whispering voice of doubt, the constant echo of fear, the nagging feeling that you are not enough. It's the voice that makes you question yourself, that crumbles your confidence at the slightest hint of challenge. If you can silence this voice, if you can take control of this internal chaos, the outside world becomes irrelevant. But here's the trick, and it's a dark one. Most people don't even know this voice exists. They live their entire lives reacting, responding, and regretting, never realizing that the true battle was never against the world, but against themselves. If you're one of the few who has awakened to this truth, you're already ahead of the game. But awareness alone isn't enough. You have to master it. You have to train your mind to act as if nothing bothers you, because in that act lies your ultimate power. You see, the first step to becoming truly unbothered is understanding the nature of control. Control is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about mastering your mind so completely that you no longer react to the small, insignificant tremors of life. You become like a seasoned sailor who, instead of panicking at every wave, learns to ride the storm. To do this, you must first recognize that every negative emotion you feel is a choice. Yes, a choice. When someone criticizes you, mocks you, or tries to provoke you, your mind automatically reaches for the most immediate, primal response: anger, frustration, hurt. But what if you pause? What if you became the kind of person who, instead of reacting instantly, took a moment to assess, to choose a response that serves your greater purpose? Imagine this. You walk into a room and the whispers start. Maybe they're talking about your past, your mistakes, or the way you failed at something. Most people in this situation would feel the heat rise in their chest, the pulse quicken in their veins. They might try to defend themselves, to explain, to seek validation. But not you, because you understand something they don't. That true power lies in indifference. This is where dark psychology becomes your ally. You see, most people live their lives as open books. Their emotions splash across their faces, their fears easily readable in their eyes. They are predictable, transparent, and easy to manipulate. But you have chosen a different path. You have chosen to become unreadable, to master the art of control chaos. You become a locked vault, with no obvious weaknesses, no clear buttons to push. You do this by practicing the art of controlled attachment. When someone insults you, don't just brush it off. Absorb it. Understand why they said it. Recognize the insecurity or fear behind their words. And then choose not to react. Not because you're weak, but because you refuse to play their game. You become the player, not the piece. Consider this. Every insult, every jab, every attempt to rattle you is a small power play. It's a test to see if they can control your mood, your thoughts, your peace. If you flinch, if you snap back, you've lost. But if you remain calm, if you let their words hang in the air without response, you win. You just demonstrated a level of self-mastery that most people can only dream of. And here's the beautiful part. Once you master this, you become a ghost in the machine. People can see you, they can hear you, but they can't touch you. You're there, but you're untouchable, unreachable. They'll wonder why their insults don't work, why their attempts to provoke you fall flat. And in that confusion, you gain the upper hand. So here's a challenge for you. The next time someone tries to get under your skin, don't just ignore them. Control the space. Stand taller. Breathe slower. Let a small, almost imperceptible smile touch your lips, and watch as they crumble under the weight of your unshakable calm. Before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a motivational quote in the comments, and hit that notification bell. You're on a journey to becoming untouchable. Let the world know it. All right, now that you understand the power of controlled attachment, we're ready to take this even further. I'm going to show you how to make your mind a fortress, a place so secure that no external force can penetrate it. Stay with me, because this is where things get intense. Now that you understand the power of controlled attachment, let's take this to the next level. If you want to truly master the art of acting as if nothing bothers you, you need to build a mental fortress. This isn't just a metaphor. It's a real, psychological barrier that you train your mind to erect around your emotions, your thoughts, your very sense of self. It's a wall that keeps the chaos of the world out, while preserving your focus, your peace, and your purpose within. Let me break it down for you. Imagine your mind as a high-security vault, the kind you might find in a Swiss bank. Thick steel walls, laser grids, reinforced doors, and a single unbreakable lock. Now, every time you react emotionally to something external, a harsh word, a betrayal, a setback, you crack that vault open just a little bit. You expose yourself, you show weakness, and you invite more attacks. But when you learn to act as if nothing bothers you, you keep that vault sealed tight, impenetrable. Here's a powerful exercise to start building this mental fortress. It's called the observer technique, and it's a principle drawn from ancient Stoic philosophy, refined through modern psychology. The idea is simple but profound. In every situation, become the observer of your own mind. Instead of reacting immediately, you step back, detach, and watch your thoughts and emotions as if they belong to someone else. You become a third-party witness to your own mental processes. For example, let's say someone publicly criticizes your work. Instead of flaring up in anger or feeling the sting of embarrassment, you pause. You take a breath. You silently remind yourself that this criticism, these words, are just data. They have no power over you unless you assign them power. You observe your instinct to defend yourself, to argue, to lash out, and then you let that impulse pass, like a cloud drifting across a calm sky. This is not weakness. This is not avoidance. This is mastery. This is you asserting absolute control over the one thing you can truly command, your mind. And when you reach this level of control, the world becomes a different place. You stop being the puppet, yanked around by the strings of external events, and become the puppeteer, pulling the strings yourself. But let's take it a step further. Once you've mastered the observer technique, you must go beyond mere emotional control. You must become strategically indifferent. This means that even if someone does manage to get a rise out of you, even if a situation genuinely bothers you, you never show it. You become the poker player with an unreadable face, the warrior who never flinches. Consider the great military leaders, the powerful negotiators, the titans of business. They have this in common. They reveal nothing. They could be on the brink of financial ruin, their empire crumbling. And yet they smile, they speak calmly, they project strength. This is not because they don't feel fear or pain. They do. But they understand that power is in perception. Control the perception and you control the narrative. So, here's your next challenge. For the next week, practice the strategic indifference. When you feel yourself getting upset, when you catch yourself about to snap, remember this principle. You are the observer. You are the master of your own narrative. And no one, no situation, no petty drama can pull you off center unless you allow it. All right, before we move on to the next part, Do me a favor. Drop a comment with a quote that reminds you of your own strength. Let the world know that you are building an unbreakable mind, that you are becoming untouchable. And hit that notification bell so you never miss another lesson on mastering your mind. Take a breath, reset, and get ready. Because in the next section, we're going to break down the ultimate weapon of the unbothered mind, the art of calculated silence. Trust me, this is where the real power lies. Now that you've started building your mental fortress, it's time to sharpen one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal, the art of calculated silence. This isn't just about holding your tongue or avoiding unnecessary conflict. It's about weaponizing your silence, turning it into a shield that deflects negativity and a sword that cuts through manipulation. Let me explain. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it, to explain themselves, to defend their actions, to justify their mistakes. Silence makes them uncomfortable, because in silence, they have to confront themselves, their fears, their insecurities, their shortcomings. But the truly unbothered, the truly powerful, understand that silence is a statement in itself. It's a declaration of self-assurance, a message that says, I don't owe you my energy. Imagine you're in a heated argument, and the person you're facing is throwing every insult, every piece of bait, every emotional hook they can find. Most people would feel the need to respond, to fire back, to defend their pride. But you just stand there calm, unblinking with a slight, knowing smile. You say nothing. You watch as their words echo in the silence, growing weaker, losing power, until they are left flustered, exposed, and confused. That's the power of calculated silence. It's the art of letting the storm rage around you while you remain the calm eye at its center. It's refusing to be dragged into someone else's chaos. It's maintaining your control, even when others are losing theirs. And when you master this, you become a mystery. You become unpredictable. And unpredictability, as we discussed earlier, is a form of power that few can match. But this kind of silence isn't just about control. It's also about observation. In the quiet, you learn things. You start to see the patterns in people's behavior, the cracks in their armor, the insecurities they try to hide. You notice the little things, the nervous tap of their foot, the flicker of uncertainty in their eyes, the forced laugh that covers their fear. You become a student of human nature, and in doing so, you gain an advantage that words can never give you. Here's a simple but powerful exercise to practice this. The next time someone tries to provoke you, don't just stay silent. Study them. Watch their body language, their tone, their choice of words. Listen not just to what they're saying, but to what they are trying to hide. In that silence, you'll find the real message. You'll see the fear, the desperation, the weakness. And when you respond, if you even choose to respond, it will be with the full weight of someone who sees through the facade. But let's take this a step further. Imagine using this silence not just in conflict, but in negotiation, in relationships, in every aspect of your life. Think of the power you hold when you can remain calm in the face of chaos, when you can choose not to speak until the perfect moment, when you can let others reveal themselves while you remain an enigma. So here's your next challenge. Practice this art of calculated silence. When you feel the urge to defend yourself, to justify your actions, to fill the silence with nervous words, don't. Hold your ground. Keep your mouth shut. Let the silence work for you. Let it create space for clarity, for insight, for power. Before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a comment with a quote about the power of silence, and hit that notification bell. You're becoming a force of nature. Let the world know it. All right, you've mastered detachment. You've learned to stay silent in the storm. And you're building a mind that's unbreakable. But now it's time to add the final piece, the art of psychological warfare, the ability to turn your calm into a weapon, to make your very presence a challenge. Stay tuned, because this is where you become truly untouchable. All right, you've built your mental fortress, mastered calculated silence, and learned the power of detachment. Now, it's time to move into a more advanced phase, the art of psychological dominance. This is where you stop just defending your mind from outside chaos and start controlling the very environment around you. This is where you become not just unbothered, but truly untouchable. Psychological dominance isn't about intimidation or control. in the traditional sense. It's about projecting an energy so strong, so self-assured, that others naturally defer to you. It's about creating a presence that demands respect, that unsettles those who would seek to undermine you, that makes others think twice before trying to push your buttons. This is the silent power that the greatest leaders, warriors, and strategists throughout history have mastered. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine walking into a room, not saying a word, but instantly commanding attention. People glance in your direction, feel the subtle shift in the atmosphere, and instinctively adjust their posture. They sense something different about you, a quiet strength, a confidence that can't be faked. This isn't magic. It's psychology. It's the silent force of someone who has mastered their own mind and learned to project that mastery into the world. Here's how you cultivate this presence. First, you must become a master of nonverbal communication. Words are powerful, but body language is the real language of dominance. Hold your head high, maintain direct eye contact, move slowly and deliberately, and control your breathing. These small, seemingly insignificant actions create a massive psychological impact. They signal to the world that you are in control, that you are not easily shaken, that you expect respect. But here's the darker side of this, and it's a critical piece of the puzzle. You must also learn to create tension. Most people shy away from tension. They avoid it. They try to diffuse it. They retreat in the face of it. But you must learn to thrive in it. When someone tries to challenge you, when they test your boundaries, don't rush to break the silence. Don't fidget. Don't back down. Let the tension build. Let them feel the weight of your unspoken thoughts, the pressure of your silent presence. In that silence, you become the dominant force. But it's not just about silence and posture. It's also about the way you speak when you choose to speak. Use fewer words, but make each one count. Speak slowly, clearly, and with intention. Never let your voice waver. Never let your tone rise in fear or desperation. This isn't just about sounding confident. It's about being confident, about projecting a mental state so solid that others can feel it. And here's where it gets truly interesting. Once you master this, you gain the ability to subtly control the emotions of those around you. You can push someone into a defensive position without saying a word. You can make them question themselves, doubt their own strength, second-guess their own motives, all by maintaining an unshakable calm in the face of their chaos. But let me give you a practical exercise to start building this psychological dominance. The next time someone tries to provoke you, instead of reacting or defending yourself, lean into the tension. Hold their gaze a second longer than feels comfortable. Stand your ground. Let the silence stretch just a bit too long. Watch as they become the ones to break, to fill the awkward space, to reveal their own insecurities. And if you really want to take it to the next level, use the power of subtle mirroring. This is a classic psychological tactic. If someone raises their voice, you lower yours. If they invade your personal space, you hold your ground. If they try to fluster you with rapid speech, you slow down, become even more deliberate. This creates a powerful contrast that leaves them off balance, unsure how to read you, and often deeply intimidated. All right, before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about the power of presence, and hit that notification bell. You're building the kind of mind that can't be shaken, the kind of presence that commands respect. Let the world know it. Take a breath, reset, and get ready. Because in the next section, we're going to talk about the ultimate form of power, mastering the art of calculated chaos. This is where you learn to control not just your own mind, but the minds of those around you. Trust me, this is a turning point. All right, now that you build an unshakable mental fortress, master the power of silence, and learn the basics of psychological dominance, it's time to take things a step further. It's time to master the art of calculated chaos. This is where you don't just defend your mind. You become the one who shapes the environment around you, the one who sets the tone, the one who controls the narrative. Calculated chaos is a concept rooted in both military strategy and dark psychology. It's about understanding that the world is unpredictable, that people are often irrational, and that life rarely goes according to plan. Instead of resisting this chaos, you learn to harness it, to bend it to your will, to thrive in the very uncertainty that breaks others. Here's a simple truth. Most people crumble under chaos. They panic, they lose focus, they make mistakes. But you can be different. You can be the one who remains calm, composed, and unbothered, even as the world around you spirals into madness. In doing so, you gain a massive psychological advantage. You become the fixed point in a spinning world, the calm eye in the storm, the person everyone else looks to for stability. But how do you achieve this? It starts with a mindset shift. You must stop seeing chaos as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity. You must train yourself to think clearly under pressure, to find calm in the midst of conflict, to remain composed when others are losing their heads. This isn't just about staying cool. It's about becoming the architect of chaos, the one who can manipulate the situation to your advantage. For example, let's say you're in a high-stakes negotiation, and the other side is trying to rattle you, to push you off balance, to break your focus. Most people will respond by tightening up, by becoming defensive, by reacting to every little jab. But you take a different approach. You stay loose, you smile, you remain unpredictable. You let their attempts to unsettle you bounce off your mental armor, while you subtly steer the conversation in the direction you want. Or consider a situation where someone tries to provoke you in public, maybe to embarrass you, to make you look weak, to damage your reputation. Instead of reacting, instead of giving them the emotional response they crave, you do the opposite. You laugh, you lean into the chaos. You make it clear, through your body language and your tone, that you are completely unfazed. In doing so, you turn their attack into an opportunity to showcase your strength, your calm, your control. This kind of response has a profound psychological effect. It not only disarms your opponent, but it also signals to everyone watching that you're the one in control, that you are the one with the true power. You become the person who thrives in chaos, who remains calm in the storm, who turns every attack into an advantage. But let me take this a step further. True masters of calculated chaos don't just respond to chaos. They create it. They learn to control the emotional temperature of a room, to stir the pot when it suits them, to keep their opponents off balance, unsure, and reactive. This is a dangerous skill, but when used wisely, it can give you an almost unfair advantage in life. Here's a practical exercise to start building this skill. The next time you find yourself in a tense situation, instead of trying to calm things down, subtly increase the pressure. Make the other person reveal their true intentions, their weaknesses, their fears. Use silence, unexpected responses, or even a sudden change in tone to create a sense of uncertainty. Watch how they respond, how they scramble to regain control, how their confidence cracks under the strain. And when you do this, remember, you are the calm in the storm, the fixed point in the chaos. You are the one who remains unbothered, no matter how intense the pressure becomes. All right, before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about thriving in chaos, and hit that notification bell. You're becoming a master of your own mind, a true force of nature. Let the world know it. Take a breath, reset, and get ready. Because in the next section, we're going to talk about the final piece of the puzzle, becoming truly untouchable, the person who not only survives chaos but thrives in it. This is where you reach the peak of mental strength. Now that you've built an unshakable mind, mastered the art of silence, and learned to thrive in chaos, it's time for the final step, becoming truly untouchable. This is the point where you not only defend your mind from external chaos, but become the force that shapes the reality around you. This is where you transcend the petty games of those around you and step into a different level of power. Becoming untouchable isn't about being cold or disconnected. It's about becoming so mentally strong, so self-assured, that nothing can pull you off your path. It's about creating a mind so sharp, so disciplined, that it cuts through every challenge, every setback, every attempt to undermine you. Here's a powerful truth. The world respects those who respect themselves. The weak are bullied, the uncertain are manipulated, and the insecure are controlled. But those who stand firm in their beliefs, who carry themselves with quiet confidence, who remain unbothered in the face of adversity, these are the people who rise, who lead, who succeed. But this level of strength doesn't come from just knowing these principles. It comes from living them, from making them a part of who you are. It's about becoming the kind of person who, when faced with setback, doesn't break down or complain, but simply adjusts, adapts, and keeps moving forward. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate this mindset is through what I call emotional immunity. Just like your body's immune system protects you from viruses and infections, your mind needs a similar system to protect you from negativity, doubt, and fear. This mental immune system is built through discipline, through training, through repeatedly choosing to stay calm when others panic, to remain focused when others get distracted, to stay strong when others break. Here's a practical way to start building this emotional immunity. Every day, expose yourself to small doses of discomfort, small moments of challenge, small hits to your ego. It could be as simple as holding your ground in a difficult conversation, pushing yourself in a workout, or facing a fear you've been avoiding. Over time, these small acts of resilience add up. They harden your mind. They strengthen your resolve. They make you immune to the petty dramas of everyday life. But here's the darker, more advanced side of this. You must also learn to embrace solitude, not just the physical solitude of being alone, but the deeper, psychological solitude of being self-reliant, of standing alone in your beliefs, your values, your goals. This means cutting out the toxic voices, the negative influences, the people who drain your energy or try to plant doubt in your mind. Because here's a harsh truth. Most people will never understand the path you're on. They will question your decisions, mock your dreams, and doubt your potential. And if you're not mentally fortified, if you're not truly untouchable, their words will seep into your mind, like poison slowly contaminating a pure stream. But if you can learn to stand alone, if you can learn to trust yourself even when the world is against you, you become truly unstoppable. But let me give you one final exercise to cement this mindset. For the next week, practice what I call the mirror challenge. Every morning, stand in front of the mirror and look yourself in the eyes. Remind yourself that you are unbreakable, that you are untouchable, that no one can shake your resolve. Speak the words out loud with conviction until you believe them. This is not just about positive thinking. It's about reprogramming your mind, about conditioning yourself to become the unshakable, untouchable force you were meant to be. All right, before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about being untouchable, and hit that notification bell. You're not just building a stronger mind. You're becoming a force of nature, a person who shapes their own reality. Let the world know it. Take a breath, reset, and get ready. Because in the next section, we're going to talk about the ultimate form of power, mastering the art of influence, of bending the minds of others to your will, without ever losing your own. This is the final step, the peak of mental mastery. All right, you become mentally unbreakable, you've built emotional immunity, and you've learned to thrive in chaos. Now, it's time to step into the ultimate form of power, the power to influence others without ever losing control of your own mind. This is where you stop merely reacting to the world around you and start bending it to your will. Influence is not about manipulation or deceit. It's about understanding the deeper currents of human nature, the hidden motivations, the unspoken fears, the silent desires that drive people. It's about speaking to the parts of the human mind that most people don't even realize exist. This is the art of bending others to your will, without them ever realizing it. To master this, you must first understand the basic principle of influence. People are controlled not by logic, but by emotion. They are driven by fear, by pride, by desire, by the need for acceptance and validation. And if you can learn to speak to these emotions, if you can touch these hidden nerves, you can control almost anyone. But here's the catch. To truly influence others, you must first master yourself. You must become a person of unshakable confidence, of iron self-control, of deep emotional intelligence. Why? Because influence is a two-way street. If you let yourself be swayed by the emotions of others, if you let their fears, their anger, their insecurity pull you off balance, you lose your power. But if you remain calm, if you remain centered, if you maintain the unbothered mindset we've been building, you become the one who sets the tone, who shapes the narrative, who controls the game. Here's a simple but powerful technique to start building this kind of influence. It's called the echo technique. This is a method used by some of the world's greatest communicators, from politicians to negotiators to master salespeople. The idea is simple. People are naturally drawn to those who reflect their own thoughts and feelings. It creates a sense of connection, of understanding, of shared purpose. To use this technique, you simply mirror the language, the tone, the emotional energy of the person you are speaking to. If they speak with passion, you respond with equal intensity. If they are calm and reflective, you match their tone. This subtle mirroring creates an unconscious bond, a sense of rapport that can be incredibly powerful. But don't just stop at mirroring. Take it a step further. Learn to guide the conversation, to subtly steer their thoughts, to plant ideas in their mind without them ever realizing it. This is where you go beyond mere influence and step into the realm of true psychological control. For example, if you want someone to agree with you, don't just present your argument directly. Instead, lead them to the conclusion you want them to reach. Ask open-ended questions that guide their thinking, that make them feel like they discovered the idea themselves. Use strategic pauses, subtle nods, and carefully chosen words to shape the perception, to make your ideas seem like their own. But here's the real secret. The most powerful form of influence isn't just about controlling what others think. It's about controlling how they feel. It's about understanding the emotional triggers that drive their behavior, the fears that hold them back, the desires that push them forward. If you can master this, you become the person others instinctively follow, the leader others look to for guidance, the influence others can't resist. And here's a final, advanced technique to cement this mindset. It's called emotional anchoring. This is a method of linking a specific emotion to your presence, your voice, your words, in the minds of those around you. Over time, people will come to associate you with that emotion, whether it's confidence, calm, strength, or inspiration, and this gives you a powerful form of leverage in almost any situation. All right, before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about the power of influence, and hit that notification bell. You're not just mastering your mind, you're mastering the minds of those around you. Let the world know it. Take a breath, reset, and get ready. Because in the next section, we're going to talk about the final stage of mental mastery. Building a legacy, becoming the kind of person whose influence echoes long after you've left the room. This is where you truly become untouchable. All right, you've come this far. You've learned to control your mind, to silence your fears, to thrive in chaos, and to influence those around you. But now, it's time for the final step. Building a legacy. Becoming the kind of person whose influence echoes long after you've left the room, whose name is spoken with respect long after you're gone. Legacy is not just about what you achieve. It's about the impact you leave behind, the mark you make on the minds and hearts of others. It's about becoming a force of nature, a person so deeply respected, so profoundly influential that your ideas, your actions, your very presence become a part of the lives of others. To build this kind of legacy, you must first master the art of consistency. People remember what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. They remember the way you handle stress, the way you respond to adversity, the way you carry yourself in moments of pressure. These small, daily actions add up over time, creating a lasting impression that becomes your legacy. Here's a simple truth. People may forget your words, but they will never forget how you made them feel. This is why emotional control, psychological strength, and calculated calm are so important. When you can remain unbothered in the face of chaos, when you can project strength in moments of weakness, when you can inspire others with your calm confidence, you create a legacy of power, of resilience, of quiet strength. But legacy isn't just about being strong. It's also about lifting others up, about inspiring those around you to reach their full potential. This is where the true power of influence comes into play. When you can make others believe in themselves, when you can help them find their own strength, when you can guide them to their fears and doubts, you become more than just a leader. You become a legend. But let's go even deeper. Legacy is also about making tough choices, about standing by your principles even when it costs you, about walking your own path even when the world tries to pull you off course. It's about living with integrity, about keeping your word, about being the kind of person others can trust even in the darkest of times. But here's the real challenge. To build a lasting legacy, you must also learn to let go of the need for approval. You must become the kind of person who is unafraid to stand alone, to speak the truth even when it's unpopular, to walk away from those who don't respect your values. This takes real strength, real courage, real resolve. But in doing so, you earn a respect that cannot be bought, a loyalty that cannot be forced, a legacy that cannot be forgotten. Here's a practical way to start building this kind of legacy. Live each day as if it is your last, but plan each action as if you will live forever. This means being fully present in each moment, making the most of every opportunity, but also thinking long-term, building relationships, investing in others, creating a lasting impact. And remember this, a true legacy is not just about what you achieve, but about what you leave behind. It's about the lessons you teach, the inspiration you share, the strength you pass on. It's about becoming a beacon of light in a world full of darkness, a symbol of strength in a world full of weakness, a force of hope in a world full of fear. So here's your final challenge. Live each day with purpose, with passion, with a clear sense of your own power. Don't just survive, thrive. Don't just exist, inspire. Don't just react, lead. This is the path to true greatness, the path to a legacy that will echo through time. All right, before we move on, take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about building a legacy, and hit that notification bell. You're not just mastering your mind. You're building a legacy that will stand the test of time. Let the world know it. Take a breath, reset, and get ready. Because in the final section, we're going to pull it all together. This is where you become truly untouchable, the master of your own destiny, the creator of your own reality. Stay with me. The best is yet to come. All right, you've come a long way. You've built an unbreakable mind, mastered the art of silence, thrived in chaos, learned to influence others, and begun building a lasting legacy. But now, it's time for the final step. Becoming truly untouchable, the master of your own destiny, the creator of your own reality. To reach this level, you must understand one final truth. Life is not just about surviving. It's about thriving. It's not just about defense. It's about attack. It's not just about endurance. It's about domination. This is where you stop reacting to the world around you and start bending it to your will. But to do this, you must master what I call the warrior mindset. This is the mindset of those who refuse to be broken, who rise no matter how many times they fall, who stare down their fears and move forward anyway. It's the mindset of those who don't just endure the storm, but become the storm. Here's the key to this mindset. You must become the kind of person who thrives in discomfort, who seeks out challenge, who embraces adversity. You must learn to see struggle as a gift, to view pain as a teacher, to use every setback as a stepping stone to greater strength. This isn't just about mental toughness. It's about total, unshakable, unstoppable confidence. To cultivate this, you must train yourself to act with certainty, even in moments of doubt, to move with purpose, even when the path is unclear, to speak with conviction, even when your voice shakes. This is the difference between those who merely survive and those who truly thrive. But there's a darker, more advanced side to this. You must also learn to let go of fear, not just the fear of failure or rejection, but the deeper, more insidious fear of being alone, of standing apart, of walking your own path. You must become the kind of person who is unafraid to walk away, to cut ties, to burn bridges if necessary. You must be willing to stand alone, to walk the path of the warrior, to choose solitude over weakness. And here's the harsh truth. This will not be easy. You will face resistance. You will encounter fear. You will struggle. But in those moments, you will discover what you are truly made of. You will find your strength, your resolve, your unbreakable will. And in doing so, you'll become untouchable. But let me give you one final exercise to cement this mindset. For the next month, every time you feel fear, every time you face a challenge, every time you're tempted to back down, push forward instead. Move into the discomfort. Lean into the fear. Embrace the pain. This is how warriors are forged. This is how legends are born. This is how you become truly untouchable. And remember this, your mind is your greatest weapon. Guard it, sharpen it, master it. Because in the end, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the strength of your mind, the fire of your will, the depth of your resolve. All right, before you go, Take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about the power of the warrior mindset, and hit that notification bell. You're not just building a stronger mind. You're becoming a force of nature, a person who shapes their own destiny. Let the world know it. Take a deep breath, stand tall, and walk forward with confidence. You are unbreakable. You are untouchable. You are unstoppable. And remember, nothing and no one can ever shake you again. Take a deep breath. Feel the weight of this moment. Understand that you've come further than most will ever dare. You've crossed a line from ordinary to extraordinary, from reactive to untouchable, from uncertain to unbreakable. This is not just about mastering your mind. This is about mastering your life. But here's the final, most important lesson. Never stop. Never settle. Never let the fire in your mind grow cold. The path you've chosen, the path of the warrior, the leader, the master, it never truly ends. It only sharpens, deepens, strengthens. You will face new challenges, new fears, new enemies, both within and without. But now you have the tools to face them. Now you have the mindset to overcome them. Now you are untouchable. And as you walk this path, remember this. Your mind is your greatest weapon, your strongest shield, your most loyal ally. Guard it fiercely. Sharpen it daily. Protect it from the poison of doubt, from the whispers of weakness, from the shadows of fear. Be the kind of person whose presence commands respect. Be the kind of leader whose silence speaks louder than words. Be the kind of warrior who thrives in chaos, who stands unshaken in the storm, who bends reality to their will. And above all, be the kind of person who never, ever gives up, no matter the odds, no matter the cost, no matter the pain. Because this, my friend, is how legends are born. This is how legacies are built. This is how you become truly untouchable. So, as you move forward, remember the simple truth. The mind is everything. What you believe, you become. What you focus on, you achieve. What you stand for, you create. So stand tall, walk forward, and never look back. You are unbreakable. You are untouchable. You are unstoppable. All right, before you go, take a second to like this video, drop a quote in the comments about the power of the warrior mindset, and hit that notification bell. You're not just building a stronger mind. You're becoming a force of nature, a person who shapes their own destiny. Let the world know it. Take a deep breath, stand tall, and walk forward with confidence, because nothing and no one can ever shake you again.